Hi Year 6, this is your maths lesson for Thursday the 28th of January, and we're still following on from yesterday's lesson. So the TLP is, can I find fractions of quantities? Quantities or amounts, it's the same thing really. I have written down some useful vocab. You've seen these words before. Numerator, obviously the top number. Denominator, unit fraction, where you've just got a 1 as your numerator, so 1/5, 1/3. And then the word divide, you probably heard me say that quite a lot in yesterday's lesson. Okay, so yesterday we were really finding, for the first part of the video, we were just finding unit fractions. Today we're going to move on and we're going to just find fractions of quantities. So just to prove that I don't only have sweets in my house, I've brought some other things along today. I thought we'd start though, we're still with a fraction of just a number. I've got here a satsuma. Well, it was a satsuma, still is a satsuma, but I have peeled it and separated the segments. Now, I want to find 3/5 of this satsuma. Okay, so if you remember back to yesterday, the first thing you need to do before you can find 3/5 is to actually find 1/5 of the number. And if you remember, to find 1/5, now see how many pieces we've got here. We've got 10 pieces of satsuma here. To find 1/5, it's the same as, you might remember this, dividing by 5. It's your whole satsuma divided into 5 equal pieces or amounts. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is 10 divided by 5, which is 2. All right, so I know that 1/5 would be 2. Let's put this into 5 equal groups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we are. I can just about see my 5 equal groups if I separate them. Here we are. So I know that 1/5, these here are all fifths. There's a fifth, there's a fifth, fifth. Is 2 pieces of satsuma, 2 segments of satsuma. But the question actually asked me to find 3/5. So if 1/5 is 2, 3 of them will be 2, 4, 6. There's my 3/5, but altogether it's 6 pieces. So 3/5, what I've really done is I have multiplied the 2 by the 3. 3/5, and that will be 6. You can see that here. Okay. Now, it might not just be a normal number that you have to find a fraction of. It could be an amount of money. Okay, so I've got 18 pence here. 18 pence. And I want to find, my question is 5/9 of 18 pence. Now, before I can find 5/9, I first of all need to find 1/9. So I've split this up, I've divided it into 9 equal groups. Here we are, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So you will see it's the same as, remember, look for your denominator, it's the same as dividing by 9. So my total amount, my whole amount was 18 pence. So I need to do 18 divided by 9. How many 9s in 18? Well, hopefully you know it's 2. Here we are, you can see that here. There's 2 pence in each group. Now, I don't want 1/9, that would be 1/9. I want 5/9. Okay, so I want 5 lots of the 2, or the 2 pence I could add in there. We're talking about pence, aren't we? So 5 times 2 would give me 10 pence. And here we are. If I find the 5 groups, there we are. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ninths. Remember, each part here was a ninth. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 pence. Okay, so I can write that in here. 5 ninths of 18 pence will be 10 pence. Okay, I've got a packet of biscuits because it might be in grams, the fraction that you have to find. Now here we are. These digestives weigh 400 grams. Okay, I want to find, my actual question is 3/4 of 400. So obviously the first thing I have to do is find 1/4. To find 1/4, I look to my denominator. I've got to divide by 4. So I've got my total weight, which is the whole packet, the one whole. So I've got 400 divided by 4 would give me 100 grams. But I didn't want just 1/4, I wanted 3 of these. So I've got to multiply this by 3. 3 lots of the 100 grams. Right, remember this was worth 1/4. Right, 3 lots of 100 grams is 300 grams. So I can write that answer in here. Just using a different colour so you can see my working out a bit more clearly. And then finally, thought we'd have a look at what you might do with milliliters, because you might be asked to find a fraction of an amount of milliliters or litres. This bottle of juice is actually 1 litre. Now, if you remember back to when we did measures, you'll know that 1 litre is actually worth 1,000 milliliters. So I'm going to use that 1,000 because it's easier than trying to find it. You go into decimals if you try and find 1/10 of 1. So we'll do the 1,000 milliliters because that is equivalent. So the question is 7/10 of 1,000. Before I can do that, remember, I've got to find 1/10. So I've got to do 1,000 divided by 10. How many tens are there in 1,000? Sorry, that 0 is dreadful. Okay, there are 100. So I know that 1/10 is going to be 100 milliliters. But I didn't just want 1/10, I wanted 7/10. So I need to times this 100 by 7. So I'm going to do 7 lots of 100, which is 700 milliliters. So the answer, 7/10 of 1,000, is actually 700 milliliters. Okay. Now, I know that can seem quite tricky. I think if it does, just keep practicing finding the unit fraction. Just keep practicing finding 1/5 or maybe 1/9 or 1/4 or whatever, okay? Don't worry if you are finding this tricky. It is very difficult. So the work that I'd like you to have a go at is over here. Okay. So the first thing you could try, you've got to try and work out how much each child has got to pay. So this is your total amount, okay, so you can see them, 56p for this one, and they owe 3/8. So if you look at the working out here, just like I was doing, first thing you've got to do is find 1/8. So you can do that by dividing your 56 by 8, which is 7. If that's as much as you can do, that's fine. But then if you can go on, see if you can find out what 3 of them would be. 3/8. It's basically 3 lots of 7, which you can see here is 21p. You could have a go at that. There's also, some of this might be a little bit easier, particularly the top part of A. If you could just do the first 5 of A, that would be brilliant too. All right, so you're finding 1/3, 1/5, 1/6, and there are some slightly harder ones down here. So if you could have a go at any of that, that would be fantastic. Okay, now, some of you who are a little bit more confident, just got a few other questions for you to have a look at. I probably won't do all of these, but we'll have a little look at some of them. The first thing I thought we could have a look at, I've got this enormous packet of spaghetti here. Now, actually, I don't need any weights, I can just use this. It's 3 kilograms. Now, I'm sure you'll know that 3 kilograms might be handy to convert that into grams. 3 kilograms, I'm going to jot that down, is actually 3,000 grams. So basically I want to find 5/6 of 3,000. Now, in order to do that, I'll just put my grams in there. In order to do that, I first of all need to find 1/6. So I've got to divide 3,000 by 6, okay? Now you can do a bus stop. Some of you will probably be able to work this out just in your heads, but I will, excuse not having a ruler. Let's write that in, 3,000. So obviously 6 into 3 won't go. I'm going to carry my 3 over. I'm just going to cross that out so I don't get confused. 6 into 30 goes 5. 6 into 0 doesn't go. 6 into 0 doesn't go. Okay, so 500. I know that 1/6 is 500, but I want 5 of them. So I've got to do 5 lots of 500. And that comes to, well, actually, I'm not going to write down what that comes to. Hopefully you can work that out. Okay. And you could do the same with the juice. I just made this question slightly harder. I've got here 7/20 of 1 litre. Now remember, perhaps try to convert that to milliliters first of all before you work this question out. And then just because we hadn't done anything on length with these examples, I've given one here in meters. I've got some ribbon here. All right, 2 meters of ribbon. Okay, and I want 3/5 of it. All right, so 3/5 of 2 meters. Remember, convert this to centimeters first of all. So really, you're going to be finding 3/5 of 200 centimeters. So I'm not actually going to work through all of those with you. I think you could have a go at those. I'll show you, we'll just show you the work that you'll need to do. Okay, hopefully. All right. Here, now there are a few percentages. Again, it's a bit of a challenge. You could, people who've been to some of my groups, we have started talking about percentages. So if you can think maybe what they would be as a fraction, that might make it easier. Okay, there are some word problems here. If we move down, you could have a go at these. I might try and photograph these and add them on to the end of the video. And if you're feeling really super confident. There's some even harder questions here. Remember here you've got amounts, you've got something like £5.40. You might find it easier to convert that to pence, so 540 pence. Now, I have got my two furry friends in here again, so I thought we'd just end again with a little treat for them. I've got here some fresh bakes. I don't think they've noticed yet. Let's come round here. Okay, let's come round here. So these are my fresh bakes. Oh, Ginny's interested. Now, there's 100 grams in this bag, and let's say I'm feeling very generous and saying they can have 2/5. Oh, Ginny's very interested. 2/5 of these fresh bakes. Okay. Right, well, 1/5, it's 100. I've got to do 100 divided by 5. I wonder if any of you know how many 5s are there in 100. Ginny, do you know? Hang on, let's listen. Yeah, you're right, Ginny. There's 20. There's 20 grams in 1/5, but I think I said I wanted 2/5. 2 20s. Harry, do you know the answer to that? Let's have a little listen. Ooh. That's right, Harry. 2/5 will be 2 20s, which is 40 grams. Sadly, I'm not going to give you 40 grams, but I might give you just a couple of treats each. So we'll just give Harry and Ginny their treats. Woo. Here we are. 2 for you. And 2 for you. So they didn't really get the amount that I promised them, but I'm sure they won't mind. So anyway, Year 6, good luck, have a go, and we'll see you tomorrow. Actually, no, I won't. I'll see you on Monday, because I think there's a special video on Friday. So we might see you on Friday for some more fractions, perhaps with some furry friends. Bye.